Welcome once again, boys and girls. I am Isham Shireen, and today on our composition lesson, we will be focusing on writing based on a particular scenario. Here's the scenario. You have entered a competition for the best kitchen garden and won. Write to your best friend and describe how you organized your kitchen garden that won. Take a few minutes and just read back the scenario. So, for this writing task, you would see that it is based on you outlining how you would have done something, and in this case, how you would have gone about organizing your kitchen garden for a competition that you would have participated. Now, if you did read carefully, you would have realized that the task is telling you to write a letter. Now, how did we know that? It clearly said, write to your best friend. So if you're writing to your best friend, it's to someone directly, and so we will use the pattern of a letter. Now, can you tell me what kind of letter exactly we would be writing here today? Yes, you are absolutely correct. We would be writing a friendly or informal letter. So let's look back quickly at some of the basic features or elements we must have. The address, and that's the address of the writer. The date, the greeting or salutation, the body, which is the storyline. And remember, you must have a beginning, middle, and the end in the body. Thereafter, we have the signature. So here's a template to remind you of what your finished work should look like. Now, based on the scenario, we let our brains take us to words and ideas that will be linked to the scenario given to us. Let's look at some relevant words that we may use in our writing. Garden. We might have to find the names of some vegetables. Tools, box, manure. Those are just some of the words. I'm sure that you know many other words that I would have not mentioned. Now, what are some things you may want to mention while you are writing the body? Let's look at some of the ideas. You may want to give details of the competition. Maybe mention who hosted or planned the competition. Where did you organize or plant your garden? What were some of the things you planted? How did you lay out your plants? Explain the judging of your garden because you won. So how did you win? And how did you feel when you heard that you won? Now that we have those ideas, remember, after you brainstorm, you try to organize your ideas so that it guides your writing better. Now, do remember that in organizing, we will use the parts of the letter and expand on your ideas in the body. So, let's get started. For this letter, we are going to pretend that the person writing the letter is Amy Light. Here I have 3 boxes, which basically gives you a little clearer plan on how your entire writing task would be set out. Now, before the body and in the heading of your writing task, you will have your address, the date, and the greeting. Now, the middle of your letter, or we say the body, here are some things that you will include. Remember, because it's a letter, you need to state the purpose of your letter. Then you could go about explaining the activity and the location of your garden maybe. Then you make sure that you highlight how you organize the garden. If you look back at the scenario, you will realize that this is a major component of your task. You can also look at why you did it the way you did, in terms of why did you organize your garden the way you did. How was your garden judged? And how did you feel about winning? Remember, these are the main ideas that will come in the body of your letter. To close your writing task, you would want to include a little about how you felt about the event or activity and maybe what you expect in the future. Now that we have organized our ideas, let's go ahead and look at it in parts. If you look at the sample of the letter I have, you will notice I have the address and then the date. 299 Quamina Street, Commingsburg, Georgetown, Guyana. Dear John, and that is the greeting or salutation. So, this letter is being written from Amy to John. I hope you and your family are well. You might be wondering why I'm writing you this letter. If you are, it's to share some really exciting news with you. Do you remember the gardening competition I told you I was going to enter? Well, I did, and I won first place. My garden was well organized and produced some of the best vegetables. The Ministry of Agriculture organized the gardening competition, and my parents and I decided that I would enter since we were at home due to the pandemic. There was a piece of land at the back of the house which Dad said was ideal for planting vegetables. My dad helped me to clear the piece of land and arranged it into 5 beds, each measuring 4 feet by 3 feet. My mom helped me to decide what I would plant and took me to the plant shop where I bought some seeds and seedlings. I chose to plant shallots, tomatoes, bora, seasoning pepper, and balanges. So, I planted 5 different plants since I had 5 beds. I left enough space between each bed so that I could easily water them and clean them when necessary. Mom bought some small gardening tools like a mini fork, mini shovel, and a mini rake, which were small enough for me to manage. On each bed, I put a name board so that anyone would know what I planted on the particular bed. I also used colored sticks to indicate where I planted the seeds or seedlings. On the first bed, I planted balange. On the second, I planted tomatoes. On the third, seasoning pepper. The fourth, shallots. And the fifth, bora. I decided for us to use the 2 corner beds for the bora and the balange, since they usually grow taller and wider than the other 3 vegetables. Every day, I made sure I checked and watered the plants at least 2 times. In about the 3rd week, I had to get some long pieces of stick for the borer since it grows like a vine and needs to grow upright. That was a lot of work, but fun as well. In the 5th week, 3 officials came to visit the garden and checked on how well I was doing. They complimented me for the way I organized the plants, especially the name boards that I use. They were also very pleased since there was no sign of weeds on the bed. In the 6th week, an unexpected amount of rain started to fall, and there was too much water around the plants. Some of the plants seemed to be falling, but my dad and I quickly used the shovel and dug 2 drains, one at the front and one at the back, to allow excess water to run off. This was real quick and smart thinking. When the rain eased, I used some more soil and manure to put around the plants and to make them stable again. In the 12th week, the officials came again, and at this time for picking some of what had grown. It was a quiet Friday afternoon, just after lunch, when my mom's phone rang. She handed me the phone, and the man on the line said, "Congratulations, you are the winner of the gardening competition." I was overjoyed. There was a virtual ceremony on the Saturday morning where I got to see the other persons who participated and won 2nd and 3rd places. They delivered my prize to my home and took pictures of me in my garden and with some of the freshly picked vegetables. My garden produced so much that we could not use everything, so we sold some of the vegetables and we gave some to our neighbors and relatives. I will definitely continue to plant my garden, and Dad said he will clear another part so that we can plant more things. I am encouraging you to do the same at home. Well, this is all for now. I hope you will take up the challenge and share your experience with me. Hope to hear from you soon. Your friend, Amy. Now that we have completed our letter, let's look back to our list to ensure that we have covered all the parts and we did address the task that was given in the scenario. So, did we have the address of the writer? Yes. Did we put the date? Yes. Was there a greeting or salutation? Yes. What about the body? Did we have a beginning, a middle, and an end? Well, I'm sure we did. Did we close our letter? And was there the signature of the writer? Or did we know who wrote the letter? Yes, all of those things were included. Remember also to reread and check on your punctuations, such as your use of capital letters, full stops, commas, and any other punctuation that was necessary. Also, check on your spelling and your general presentation of your work. Here I have just the listing of the ideas that were in the body that you could recheck. Well, now I believe you enjoyed that letter, but at the same time that you followed to learn how you can improve your writing skills. Remember, even though it's a letter, there is an active storyline in the body. There still needs to be the basic elements of character, plot, setting, maybe a conflict and resolution. Because you are explaining, you must use words which makes your writing very clear. Well, boys and girls, that's all for me. Do keep writing and become creative writers. This is bye for now.